うん、これで大丈夫なはず。はず。はずなんだけど。と、あ、大丈夫だ。大丈夫だ。よし、大丈夫。なんでこんなことに。あなんでなんだ。よしよし。これ大丈夫ね。大丈夫、大丈夫。はい、行きまーす。いや、もう絶対出てくるもん。With that, I depart the club room and make my home. Make my way home. やだ。怖い。怖い。やめてほしい。The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the three girls. Natsuki, 大丈夫? Yuri? And of course Monica. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. 大丈夫、大丈夫。Alright. I'll just need to make the most of my circumstance, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. いや、もうちょっと進めるのが怖いんじゃけど。And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. 大丈夫？あ、大丈夫だった。ええYou unlock a special poem? え、読みたくないんだけど。読みたくねえな。はい。あー、もうやだ。何いや、いや、はい。あれ、二人しかいない。あ、そっか。モニカはいないんだ。でもどうしよう。前回ユリ喜ばしたもんね。どうしようかな。どうしようかな。いや、今回は私の好きな単語を選んでいこう。そうしよう。サンセット。あmisfortune, misery, friends. ミザリーってかっこいいよね。cheer, extraordinary, peaceful, extraordinary. Uncanny after-image, flower inside existence, beauty, sugar, sock, sticky, pleasure, distance. Game, portrait, horror, red, pretty, London, unless, terrain, sadness, fantasy. ゲームかな。Essence, shame, joy, cage, cage. swimsuit or English statements. Vertigo climax memory. Capital. Fashion smile, be cautious, infernal grief. Broken defeat, love, heart, music, music. Digression, incapable, vacation, disowned. Tragedy, covet, covet ってなんだろう、ストロベリー、トラジディ。ドキドキ。選びたくない。Agonizing, shopping, pink list, entropy, sensation, silly, secretive, fear, vanilla, plum, stream, sparkle, sparkle かな。Eternity, frightening, frightening だ、フライトニングだ、free analysis, warm, lucky analysis. なんか選んじゃった。tenacious, giggle, lipstick, giggle. Romance ending, judgment, color, chocolate, food, whisper, play, shiny, aura, perfect, sweet, hope, amazing, universe, contamination, contamination, disarray, disarray. どっちになったんだろう。大丈夫だった。なくなってる。よかった。なるほどね。さよりが出てくるとこだけなるのね。Hi again, Bisma. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. No, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep my word. 今回は大丈夫かな？多分大丈夫だね。Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. なんで？ Thanks for keeping your promise, Bisma. なんで？ I hope this isn't too overwhelming of commitment for you. 今なんでバグった？ Making you dive headfirst into literature when you are not accustomed to it. なんで？ Oh, come on. Like he deserves any slack. You already had to be dragged here by Monica. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. ちょっと読めないけど。読めないんだけど、モニカ。モニカ Natsuki finds yourself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga is literature. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, Bisma. Well, make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Yuri shoots Natsuki with a disappointed glance. Anyway, now that you are in the club and all, perhaps you might have interest in picking up a book to read. Well, I can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in this club now. なんかちょっと音楽もおかしいんだよな。So it only feels light for me to do something like that if you ask. Oh, wait. I didn't mean it like that. If you don't really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. Oh, no, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be a part of this club. So even even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you wanted me to. Are you sure? I just felt like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like. Yuri reached into her bag and pulled out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out. So I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if we want. またゆりちゃんルートを選んでしまった。How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book things I like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. あ、戻った。よかった。Now that everyone's settled in, I accepted Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is lama, rummaging around in the closet. いや場面転換やめて。怖い。I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. Hi, hi. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. あー、大丈夫? I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. 怖いな。But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I muttered this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. 怖い. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just reading a bit of this, so おかしいよね、やっぱりね、ちょっとね。おかしいよね。The book that you gave me, right? もう怖えな。I wanted to read some of it. あ、治った、よかった。Not for any particular reason. Just curious. How come you have two copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday, that's not what I mean. I mean, I just happened to buy two of them. Oh, I see. There's something very obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear that. だとなかった. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about anyway? Oh, well, I look at the cover of the book. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an om- ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. And the people trapped there have this trait and turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to. Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean, not the thing about the limbs. That kind of, that's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark tongue came from nowhere. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Bisma? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kind of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forget that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just, it's just this kind of story. Why? It's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen not just because someone wants to be evil. なんで But because the world is full of horrible people and we are all worthless anyway. なんで怖い I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. なんで Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. なんで And please stop me if I start talking too much. That I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Um, that, uh, well, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started leading it, right? なんで Yes, I mean you don't have to, but なんでだよ。怖い。そういうのやめてよね。あはは What are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. うるさくてごめんね。Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? 怖い。I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. That I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Oh, alright. I opened the book and started the prologue. 大丈夫? I still understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly uh, bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eyes. 大丈夫だよね? I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. You really apologize a lot, don't you? I I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean, 何やめて。あはは。Here, 笑ってる。This should work, right? 怖い。I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose to. Yuri timidly closed her own copy. Once we were each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of different to turn the page. Here. よかった。Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and four fingers. Four fingers じゃない, four finger. Uh, I do the same with my right arm. on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? Oh, to turn the page. Oh, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. Oh, that okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Kawaii. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. わからん We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feel like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. Uh-uh? No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking the way she second guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Sorry. I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet. So I don't know why that came into my head. Yuri, are you feeling alright? Huh? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you are feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little. My breathing? Yuri put her hand on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. 大丈夫 Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about? Bisma? Did something happen just now? Huh? I have no idea. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess. So, you don't know anything. Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her? Oh no, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her. No, nothing. Don't worry, I believe you, silly. You just did this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming. Alright, if you say so. Anyway, why don't we start with sharing our poems with each other? 大丈夫かな大丈夫普通のポエムかな Huh? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I just figured we'd get started without her. Yuri いなくていいんだ。はい。Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. 大丈夫じゃあ、夏希から。 I told Natsuki I was interested in her poems yesterday. It's probably only fair if I shared mine with her first. 大丈夫でありますように。これ大丈夫か Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you. The little blunt. Well, excuse me? It's not like I said it was bad. It just didn't evoke any emotions. So basically, it's not cute enough for your taste. Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass. Sigh. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you like it. 大丈夫うんうん最初に見たのと一緒だね。Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. うんうん一緒。Yeah. あ、間違えた。I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. That isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves. Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard, like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it put more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhythm at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with the last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. 大丈夫モニカ、大丈夫大丈夫かな、うん、Hi, Bisma. Having a good time so far? Oh, yeah? Good, glad to hear that. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in my mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Bitma. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But uh, it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I had Monica my poem, もうダメだ。Great job, Bisma. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that full of imagery and symbolism. Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean that like it's bad thing though, but sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that is probably a much more interesting place for her. Interesting って書いてあったっけ？はいはい。But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, so don't blame her for coming on a little too longly. Like earlier, I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for a long time. Suddenly, the door opened. 大丈夫？ Yuri? Okay, okay, okay. I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Uh, well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Huh? Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We still have plenty of time, so I'm more glad that you took all the time you needed. Ah, kawaii. Alright. Thanks, Monica. I suppose I should go get my poem now. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's 'cause I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. 大丈夫？大丈夫。Hole in wall. But he wasn't looking at me. なんかちょっともう confused. I frantically glanced at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see color. There are they in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheet on paper? The sound of frantic scrolling playing tricks on my ears. The room began to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. あ、なんか変わった？ There must be a way out. It's right here. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. 変わってないか。So, what do you think? It's very freeform. If that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Um, well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about the deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. 大丈夫？あ、ユリが出た。大丈夫？ Who should I show my poem to next? ユリ。大丈夫？大丈夫。As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. Huh? What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. I. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. Hmm? That's. I guess you are right. What I'm getting so nervous for. Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment かな coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Oh. Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Hmm. Well, I know that. I just meant, um, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more slowly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are awakened. Once Yuli finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changed. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuli is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? 大丈夫 Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bad thing. It must be this one. The last remaining story 読めない to have with 読めない with stood understood 違うよね with わかんねえ the test of my time the last to be replaced by the singing blue-green of the future. I was calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Hi. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. 読みにくかった What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest, since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Bisma. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experience in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing really. Uh, yours was impressive too, so nah, if anything, I could probably learn a things or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Bisma. Me too. 大丈夫来ない Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. スキップしちゃった。ちょっと待って。スキップしちゃった。Sorry. 夏希佐藤にスタンドアップ、喧嘩したんだよね。I didn't realize you were invested in trying to impress our new members, Yuri. すまんな。That's not what I... You are just... Yuri stand up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Bisma appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cute. Mm. Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Basma started showing up. Natsuki. Natsuki, that's a little. This doesn't involve you. さよなら Monica. Taking out your own読めない on others like that. 何何何 Me, look who's talking to you. 何 Is she? Sorry, that she? Just saying that proves my point. Most people learn to get over themselves after they graduate middle school, you know. If you want to prove anything, then stop harassing that. 怖い。You think おかしくなってきた。ちょっと待って、ちょっと待って、なんで怖いから読みたくない。怖いから読みたくない。You think you can counterbalance your toxic personality just by dressing and acting cute? 怖いから読みたくない。いや、怖いから読みたくない。The only cute things about you is how hard you try. Huh? Be careful, or you might cut yourself on that edge, Yuri. Oh, my bad. You already do, don't you? Did you just accuse me of cutting myself? What the fuck is wrong with your head? Yeah, go on. Let's let Bisma hear everything you really think. I'm sure he'll be head over heels for you after this. Um, Suddenly Yuri turns towards me as if she just noticed I was standing here. Bisma, she she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. まあ、怖い。どっち選ぼう。I choose Yuri when I when my first place, so I'll choose Natsuki. ああ、もうやだ、怖い。夏希選ばせてくれない。選んでいい夏希。だんだん近づいてきた。怖い。だんだん近づいてくる。ゆり選ばないとダメ。違うな、そういうことじゃないな。怖い。何何よ。何モニカ。Hey, Bisma. Why don't we step aside for a little bit, okay? Sorry about that. ごめん、読み飛ばしちゃった。They really shouldn't have tried to get you involved. It's probably better for us to stay out of this. Well, go back inside once they're done yelling. なんで Some president I am right? I can't even confront my own club members properly. I just wish I was able to be a little more assertive sometimes. But I never have it in me to put my foot down against others. You understand, right? なんでなんでなの Anyway, if this makes you want to spend less time with the others, then that's fine. I'd be happy to spend time with you instead. Suddenly, Natsuki ran out of the classroom. She quickly runs away. Oh dear. Well, it looks like they are done. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. 怖い怖い。Yuri's looking back and forth in her desk with her palms on her forehead. 怖いんだけど。Yuri, I didn't mean it. I believe you. I have no idea what Yuri might have said to Natsuki. Or did. Bisma, please don't hate me. Please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. We know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget all about it by tomorrow. Completely. Anyway, the meeting is over, so you can go home now if you want. Yuri looks at me like she wants to say something, but she keeps glancing at Monica. You, you can go first, Monica. I'd like to stay a little bit longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done. Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take that responsibility today. It kind of sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. It, it's not that. It's not that. I just, I didn't get much of a chance to discuss my book with Bisma. It would just be embarrassing with you listening. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I'm sorry for causing trouble. なんでなんでなんでなんで怖い I'm so scared. Also, I stopped to play today. Thank you for coming.